right, what's up, peoples? Ron Brooks here, the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There is no business like minding your own. Coming to you, man, here on August the 4th of 2022. Very excited, man, to have you guys be a part of what we're doing here with the Minding Your Business podcast. Very excited about what we've got in store as we kind of shift and shuffle, and we're getting through the year, man. We're getting through 2022. Yeah, we're here now at August. It's time for school to start. School will start for many people. My daughters are starting school here in the next week. I got a 7th grader, I got a 6th grader, I got a 4th grader. My wife and I, man. So we're excited about that, man. Excited about the possibilities for this school year, for further growth and development. We got the sports seasons that are going to be going on. I am part of the school's athletic board, so we're looking at some of those things and some of the sports that we're going to make available, coming on the heels of the kind of the strong part or the biggest part of the pandemic that had such an impact, man. So very excited about this year as we get past some of the mandates and things like that we've dealt with the last 2 years. Connect with me, champ10k.com. I've added some additional resources, some additional links there that you could tap in with me. You can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me as I'm working with folks to help develop their business. Kind of 3 areas. One, to amplify their voices through podcasting. Another is kind of business and nonprofit leadership development and fundraising. And then also real estate investing, being able to wholesale, hotel, fix and flip, do those type of things that become actually seed money for some of the other areas that I just discussed. And also, if you're interested in getting into the business altogether from a real estate investing standpoint, these are all areas that I have extensive experience in and have done successfully. Amplifying your voice through a podcast and the way that you can monetize that today, something that I do, is something I want to impart and help you do if that's something that you have an interest in. So definitely tap in with me. Simply go to champ10k.com. You can also check me out at River City Capital for those of you that are in Memphis that are looking for low-cost financing. If you're in kind of underserved areas of Memphis and you're looking to grow your business either from the startup phase or you're an existing business owner, definitely go to rivercitycapital.org. Again, that's rivercitycapital.org, and you can learn more about our organization as a certified CDFI or community development financial institution. We provide not only that low-cost funding, but also that technical assistance mentorship here in our community. And we're making great progress, but we want to continue to make more. So if you're interested and you're looking to acquire that type of financing for your business, definitely hit us, rivercitycapital.org. If you're interested in supporting us, we have many investors and supporters from various local, regional, and national foundations, associations, banks through their CRA program, which is the Community Reinvestment Act, platforms that they have, and then all the way up to the federal level at the Department of Treasury. However, if you're interested in supporting our mission and learning more about it and how you can support and get involved, go to rivercitycapital.org. Okay. This is my first time broadcasting live. I'm actually live right now currently in the presidential suite with Ron Brooks. This is my newer Facebook group where I do some one-on-one mentoring. I share resources and whatnot. So if you're listening to this, links in the bio, or you can go to champ10k.com. You can become a member of the presidential suite. I share information on various grants that are for your business. Some are tailored to people of color, some not. Some tailored to women, some tailored to those that are convicted felons, all across the spectrum. So there are many grants that are not federal. You're not going to find them at grants.gov and all that type of stuff. There are more privatized type grants that are available out there that you all may not be aware of. And so I have that information available to you. Again, champ10k.com. You can become part of the presidential suite with Ron Brooks Facebook group. Definitely tap in with me there. What I want to get into quickly with you, I want to share a little bit of knowledge as it relates to fundraising, whether it's for your business or for your nonprofit. So let's get into some of that for sure. Yes. So let's start this thing off. And let's really get into some of the 5 prerequisites, or prerequisites, I should say, for fundraising success. The 5 prerequisites for fundraising success. So, number one that I want to share with you is obtain a full understanding and agreement, kind of regarding your vision, your mission, your strategic direction, and your financial position of your business or your organization. That is so important, right? Just to say the least. It was so important that you understand what your vision, what your mission statement is. It's one thing just to apply for grants and apply for funding. That's one piece of it. But one of the things you're going to have to answer in the application, and you're going to have to be able to articulate as a leader of any organization, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, is you have to have that understanding of your mission, your understanding of your vision, where you're trying to get to. What are some of the strategic direction tasks that you're looking to do or implement with your organization? And then a big piece from leaders is your ability to understand your financial position. And understanding your financial position is kind of two-pronged. One, you want to be able to understand the narrative of your position. The narrative is what you do. How do you articulate in verbiage and words what you do and how you do it and how you look to make an impact, right? The next part of that is how do you quantify that impact, right? So it's not enough to just say, oh, we do a lot of this and a lot of that, right? You got to be able to say, okay, what is our, what are the numbers behind the narrative, right? So for example, if you say we want to go into communities and we want to transform those communities, right? Or we want to assist youth, or we want to assist seniors, whatever that is. And now you got to say, okay, along with the narrative, how do we quantify that? How many seniors by when? How do we measure the progress, right? From 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever that is. So if you're trying to get them to have more of something or less of something, right? You got to be able to measure that. So what do you put in place, but how does that align with your mission and your vision? Because that's going to be at the forefront, right, of what you do in regards to getting funding, right? Because on these applications, when we're getting funding ourselves, that's at the base of it. And that's often something that comes when you're even talking with whoever your contact is at whatever organization or association, foundation that's granting money. Part of that conversation, or even in that quasi interview, is going to be, okay, what's the mission? What's the vision? What are the strategic goals? What's the financial position today? Where do you anticipate that being tomorrow? And so if you can't answer that, or you can't answer that clearly and concisely, you're going to have, some struggles with that, right? So let's, think about that. That's kind of the first one that I wanted to kind of throw out there is, that understanding of mission, vision, goals, and strategic direction, right? All right. Next, let's look at number 2, which is let's create a clear, concise, and compelling case for financial support that ties back to that strategic plan, right? So what is the case for getting money, right? It's not enough to just, NYB, just ask for money, right? Because, just getting money without any kind of plan that you can articulate, it's got to be clear, it's got to be concise. So as an example, if the grant is $100,000, right, then you've got to be able to showcase how you're going to utilize most of that $100,000 to make an impact. So if you're looking to provide youth programs, right, in a community, so a community that's void of, productive, positive platforms for youth to be able to express themselves, to be able to get engaged, to be able to have education and have fun. If that's void in your community and you're looking to say, okay, we have an organization, we have a strategic plan of providing safe, fun educational platforms for youth, ages, 13 and below, whatever that is, or 18 and below, whatever that looks like for you, then what you want to look at is, how do you make the case for the fund? So the $100,000 is going to do what? And then that's got to make sense and pass what I call the dumb test, right? So it's got to pass the dumb test. for sure. If it doesn't, right, then it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for you in getting the funds and being able to compel whoever the grantees are, the grantors, I should say, to you as a grantee. What's the compelling case for the money? So there's got to be a clear, concise way that you're articulating that plan. And so typically what we're doing is when we get something for that same example of $100,000, we'll say, okay, 15% of that is going to go towards general operations, right? So I have $100,000, 15,000 of it's going to go to support our general operation, which is, salary, benefit, have, the computer systems, the computer software, the ability to deploy the funds. Right. So we got to show that we've got the capacity, right? That's one of the key words is capacity. Do we have the capacity, right, to deliver, to acquire those funds and to deploy them, right? So that's one of the things that we're looking at. Do we have that? And if we don't, then that's got to be, part of the grant. So then 15% going to general operations. So now you've got the remaining 85%. Right. So that needs to go towards your program, right? Towards programs. So you say, okay, over the next year, we're going to have a summer program, for kids, and you break down the age ranges, right? So, for kids, from, I don't know, from 5 to, 10 are going to be in a group, and then from 11 to 14, and then, 15 and above, whatever that looks like. And however you break that down, that's the level of detail you got to get into, right? To show, okay, when in these groups, we're going to have the summer program. The summer program is going to be from, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And it's going to involve these different angles. And so who's going to put on those angles, right? Those platforms, educational fund, whatever that is. What do meals look like? What does licensing look like? How are you vetting the people that are going to be around the kids, right? What does those local laws look like? Where do those people come from? How have you identified the talent? How are you going to retain the talent? How are you going to compensate the talent, right? Where are you going to get all the materials and everything you need for the activities? Those are things that you're going to be looking at, right? And so you want to keep those things in mind, but you want to be clear and concise with that, definitely, for sure. Number 3, develop a time-phased fundraising plan, right? Time-phased. That's kind of the key term of that is, it's got to be, your plan's got to be over what period of time? What period of time are you looking to make an impact? And what does that look like for you as a fundraising plan? Where else are you getting funds? And, how are you able to do that incrementally? Some of these grant programs will do a situation where they'll give you $100,000, but it might be over 3 years, right? So they'll give you $33,000 a year. All right. Does that allow you to execute with what you're looking to do? Right. So you got to be able to show and articulate that you can execute what you're looking to do over that period of time. So some of the grants that we receive, right, are over time. It may be $1 million, but it may be spread out over, say, 5 years, right? So now you got to look at, okay, based off that, if you're going to get, say, $200,000 a year, how does that feed into going back to your strategic plan? How does that feed into over those years, what impact you're going to make, and what's your ability to deploy that funding, right? Because if you can't deploy, right, then you don't have then the capacity to be able to receive the funds. You're not going to receive the funds, right? So you got to make sure you do that. But have a time-phased fundraising plan, again, that you can articulate, that's concise, and that's very clear in its direction. All right. Number 4. All right. Define roles and responsibilities for staff, board members, volunteers, and consultants. Right. You got to develop roles. This is very important. This is very critical. One, in how you articulate this in the grant application, but more so, how do you articulate this just overall for your organization? So this is not something you're going to just put together on the fly. You always have to be assessing and defining roles, right? And roles and responsibilities sometimes take lives of their own, and they grow on their own, and they evolve on their own. But you want to make sure that for each person that's on staff, that's on the board, um, volunteers, consultants, vendors, what's their role in the organization? Um, how is that being defined for them? And then also, how does that definition of their roles and responsibilities cascade to when you receive the funds? If you were to receive the funds, what does that look like? Right? What is those roles and responsibilities? And mainly remember, often you're looking at what I call this healthy tension of receiving funds, right? So you receive the funds as the grant, and then your ability to cascade that and be able to properly deploy in the way that, again, supports your mission, supports your vision, and supports that, like I mentioned, the time in which you're looking to execute your fundraising plan. How are you doing that? So define those roles is very important, and I can help you with that. As someone that's been in both business and nonprofit leadership for some time, I can help you with that definition of roles and responsibilities as you assess talent, because that's one of the critical areas, MYB, that comes into play when you talk about your organization, your ability to fundraise, right? All right, number 5, let's go through this real quick. This is very important too. You want to thank and recognize those that give you money and those that volunteer for your organization, right? It seems very simple and that sort of thing, and very basic. However, oftentimes organizations miss that. Keep in mind that you're going to be coming back to people, multiple times. People move around a lot, right? So people move from organization to organization. And a lot of times in today's world, as big and global as the world is, it still remains very small, and paths can cross again, right? So you want to make sure that you also get back with people around just simply thanking them. And even if you don't get the funds, right, thank them for the opportunity and the opportunity to connect and link up and to have discussions, because you never know where that can lead. We don't get every single grant that we apply for, right? Even if we think that we should, or even we think we have a very compelling case and very compelling argument, that does not mean that we are entitled to the grant. Those are things that we're selected on based on our merit, and sometimes based on timing and connections and things of that nature. But all the time, you want to continue to establish and foster those relationships and continue to have that bi-directional communication, and hopefully a mutually beneficial relationship going forward. So even if you're not able to receive funds, or even if you are, you want to make sure that you're reaching out, you're thanking and recognizing those donors, people who volunteer for you, people who do things pro bono, people who, again, believe in your mission and vision, and they volunteer, they dedicate time and effort and resources to helping you progress that mission and receive those funds. You should definitely find ways to thank those folks. And, yes, telling them verbally and in writing is good. Thank you. Providing some level of gift benefit or just token of appreciation is always in order. So make sure that you think about that as you're going through kind of, gearing up to be able to receive funding. So real quick, we want to get back through the 5. So number 1 was that full understanding and agreement of mission, vision, strategic direction, and financial position. Number 2 was that clear, concise case for the financial support. Number 3 was developing a time kind of sensitive or time phased fundraising plan. 4 was defining the roles and responsibilities, again, between staff, board, volunteers, and consultants. And then number 5, very important, make sure that you thank people and show them the appreciation, right? Volunteers, donors, and all of them above. Make sure that you do just that. So those are kind of 5 prerequisites for being successful in raising money for your organization. There's so much money out there, y'all. There is so much money. A lot of it that you may not even realize, because it's not always just readily out there. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight. And you got to get around and you got to find it. So be willing to invest. That's my last thing, is you got to be willing to invest. Sure, you can go to some of the major kind of public grant areas like grants.gov, but guess what? Everybody in the world's going there. And You can definitely get in there and you can compete for some of that money, and you definitely should. However, there are other alternatives out there. But some of those alternatives do require an investment, because there are people that, like myself, who curate that information and put a lot of time and effort and even spend some money putting that information together. So be willing to invest. That means you have to give up maybe some other things that you're doing or that you wanted to have, but you got to ask yourself, how important is it for you to have that information? How important is it for you to have private grant information or access to them with contacts and things of that nature? Is that worth anything to you? And you got to answer that question for yourself. So think about those things. Think about these 5 prerequisites for fundraising success. Hit me up. Again, Ron Brooks, the champ, champ10k.com. Make sure you do that. Definitely looking forward to having you all be a part of future episodes of the Minding Your Business podcast. For those of you that have been rocking with me for a long time, since 2017, I thank you. If this is your first episode that you're listening to, I thank you as well. So listen, I'm going to get up out of here. It's more fundraising to go do. Got to attack some of these prerequisites myself, but hopefully this was of value to you. Hit me up again, champ10k.com. You can schedule time with me if you want to talk about this more on a one-on-one basis. You can send me a message there. You can connect with me on across social media. I am Ron Brooks. I've done a little bit of slight rebranding. As you've seen, I've kind of gone away a little bit from the champ moniker, looking at, not going a complete different direction. I'm always going to be me, but I'm looking to really brand more just around simply me, Ron Brooks. So listen, this is episode 297 of the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's still no business like minding your own, right? So man, I just love it. So I'll catch y'all on the next time. By the time we talk again, school would have started for most people, man. So welcome back to all the students, teachers, administrators. Let's support each other. We can always point fingers and that sort of thing, but I think we're much better together, which leads me to how I normally close these episodes, which is no matter where you're from, no matter what side of the tracks you're from, no matter how you look in the mirror, we all have these 3 things in common, which we all want to be a little bit better for ourselves, a little bit better for our families, and a little bit better for our communities. And if we can keep all those things in mind, no matter where we are, or no matter where we're from, or what we look like, or what we believe, or what side of the aisle we're on, if we keep those 3 things in mind, we can all make this place just a little bit better. Ron Brooks, the Minding Your Business podcast. Again, continue to hit me up on champ10k.com. I love hearing from you all. Connect with me on social media at I am Ron Brooks on Instagram, Clubhouse, Twitter, LinkedIn, fan base, wherever you can find me. Definitely do that. I look forward to hearing from you. Schedule a meeting with me. Get your one-on-one game going. Let's definitely talk. I want to be a resource to your business. Take it to the next level. Ron Brooks, the Minding Your Business podcast. Let's do it.